people. It's easier for the new people to adapt to this new culture. And the culture works, we see it in behaviors, but actually it goes through the expectation and beliefs. So as a leader, try to engage your people, try to have a culture of open feedback, to have open communication, to be able to find out what's going on in your team, how people see that. People usually have really good ideas about how to improve the work or how to improve processes, and you really want to get to know it. Act on feedback. If you collect feedback, act on feedback as a leader. Show that you not only value people talking about it, but you also value implementing this feedback. This also increases trust in the team, and people will be willing to talk about it to you and share it with you. And some things for the culture is create stories, do some insider jokes, make some small traditions, how you do it. Maybe it's a, like end of the week, a drink online, or a, I don't know, coffee on Wednesdays, or whatever you want to do. Do celebrate great things, to share jokes and to share some hopefully good mood within your company. There are many questions about team performance. So what do we do with the team performance if we don't see the team? It's difficult to monitor team performance even if you do see the team, especially with knowledge workers, right? So especially if we are not working on a conveyor and pushing physically things forward. We want to motivate people. So if we do motivate people, I'm a great my view, I'm just holding the view that if you do motivate people, you don't really have to control them. So you don't have to track how much attention or how much time or how long they were been sitting on the desk and doing their work, but you see it on the output. So when people go home or remote office to work, it's the time-based work that it's changed to result-based work. You cannot observe the time. You could, but it's difficult. There are tools. There are some tools that you can punch in and punch out. I don't know them by heart because I think that there are better, more nicer and more coherent ways to achieve great performance. But there are, maybe we can look some of them afterwards, or maybe someone knows good tools, then you can obviously share. But what I think that working remotely, you want to get people involved into the quality of their work. So ask them to structure their own tasks. Ask them, tell them what to do, but don't tell them why, the other way around. Tell them why to do, but don't tell them what to do, and try to engage them so they come with their own ideas, what to do. Nevertheless, it's so important that you address and you try to keep a good mood in your team and in your company. And if there is a conflict, that you do want to address and resolve it before going along, because it's so easy to lose people when they're in a home office and you just don't see what's going on. Conflict prevention is always better than conflict resolution. I think we all agree on that. And conflict prevention would be in the best way if you have positive, open, work culture where people are not afraid to speak up and people are not afraid to raise their issues, to give their ideas, to contribute to good communication and to good delivery in the office. Appreciation and feedback is very important. You also may want to implement sessions where people can get credit for their work, like small team presentations of the results of whoever is doing what. It gives the sense of ownership and a sense of pride and a sense of being connected through this task. And watch for early warnings. Like if you see that someone is, staying more quiet or participating less in the meetings or taking longer to give a response or whatever that might be. You know your people, try to know your people personally, how they are when they're in a good mood, when they're having a good day, and then you will see automatically when they're having a bad day, and just be sure either to address it directly or to try to find out what the reason might be. But something to think about. And always think that written communication is a risk factor. So it's a written communication plus a time lag because of asynchronous communication that gives potential to more conflict. Whenever we speak to people, we see the mood they're in, we see how they get the message, we see whether their body language. So especially if you think that there might be a difficult issue, it's very important to address it personally and to address it face to face. And face to face in this situation, virtual collaboration and virtual tools are as close to being able to speak in person as we can get. Communicate with colleagues often and well. In remote office, it's very important that you communicate often and well. Mindful of other people's times, but there are very good reasons for office communication, for good meetings, for staying in touch with each other. It reminds you that you are part of the team. If I put there's the results of what's going on. Are you guys still with me? I think my computer was.
There's no issue, Nataliya. You could go ahead.
Yes, because my computer just turned black, so I was worried that something's going on. But now we are back. So the meaning of silence. Whenever you don't hear from your colleagues, the meaning of silence can be completely different. So I have put here results of a study, of an academic study that has been performed for one team, one project through the course of one. Only those that can contribute in the best way. In this way, the number of meetings wouldn't explode and you would just have more focused attention on those meetings.
Nataliya, your voice broke in between. Could you just repeat probably a second behind?
With one-to-ones. Okay, I think we are now on YouTube, which is fine, but I still hope that the connection is okay.
It's good now.
Very good, very good. I'm really happy to hear it. Media and technology competence for your team. So if you are using technology, you do want to define the ways that you want to use the technology, and you do want to use it the best way. Like there are many collaboration tools that you can do a lot more things, even in the video, even in video conferences, in Zoom, you can do many things that involve people. So you can share documentation, you can work on the same document, you can create visuals and whiteboards. So encourage people to take as much of virtual collaboration as you can. Participation, try to have people participating, and obviously be mindful of other people's time, so the number and time spent in meetings does not explode. There are some points how to hold great meetings. So you want to have a clear goal. You want to have good role definitions for the meetings. You want to have someone who facilitates, someone who has organized and has sent the agenda, someone who is keeping the minutes and makes sure that.
Nataliya, could you share the presentation? It's not shared in the screen.
I see that something went wrong. I have been sharing it. So just make sure you you let me know, because it was lost somewhere. So I hope now it's on.
Yeah, it's good now.
I go back. Did you see those rules that I put together? Okay. So the how to hold good meetings, how to hold great meetings. You do want to have a definite goal. So you do want to know what is the purpose of this meeting. You do want to have a structure, an agenda sent in advance, so people can prepare. People can, for them, evaluate what would be my best contribution to that meeting. Whenever in the meeting, you might want to set up certain roles that you just keep a good structure to the meeting, right? So you do want to have someone who has organized it and someone who is watching the goal and the purpose of this meeting being achieved. You do want to have someone who facilitates and makes sure that people that are there to give their contributions can give their contributions in the best possible way. You do want to document in one way or another what has been discussed and what has been decided on those meetings. And you obviously you have your experts that are just giving the input on whatever topic you want to have. You obviously don't have to have those roles written down in your corporate policy. You can just determine them for each meeting separately. And obviously one person can have multiple roles in the meeting. It just helps to have a good structure of the meeting. Expectations, you want to know what's expected from the meeting, and people want to know what's expected from them. So make sure the expectations are clear. Have the accountability for being prepared, being ready to give your best in the meetings, and being ready to follow up on the meetings, whatever has been discussed and decided, and the to-dos that each individual might have taken with it. Timing, start on time, end on time, and watch your deadlines, the deadlines that have been arranged, because the team is relying on you. Social interaction is something that many teams, when first going remote, don't think about, but it's such an important thing for just being connected as a team. So a cohesive and well-functioning team with shared identity is connected through this informal interaction. So try to formalize your informal interaction. Try to meet for not discussing any projects or any deadlines or any milestones or any conflicts. Just try to meet as a team, have a drink or have a coffee or have a pizza or do a celebration or have some creative time, just involve people, just let people relax and do stuff that you would normally do in the office, and you don't want to miss out on those. To meet or not to meet, not everything that has to be, like shared with a team needs to be a meeting. So you need to have some specific answers. You just send an email or send a message or send a video, a small video to your team. If you want to have feedback, just ask whatever you want to have feedback, or if you disseminate information, write an email or write a post or write a video if you want to make it more personal. It's very good way of sending a personal message to more people. A reduced number of incoming mails or messages. We are often overwhelmed with a sheer number of communication channels. So one way I see how to reduce it is to use a collaboration tool. There are many different tools. I just put a few examples here of the tools that I know and I have worked with, that you can bundle the things that are going on together. So you have your milestones, deadlines, people who are responsible for it, communication, progress, reporting. You can have everything in one place, and you don't have to scroll through the emails or to go through the chats or call people to ask what the document is. So it's just something more efficient to help people have more time for important things. whenever you try to implement one of the tools, one of these collaboration tools, or one of the any other tools into your team, it's always challenging to do it from today into tomorrow. These times, during the Corona times, we are learning very quickly, and we are doing an amazing job in adapting different tools. But there are still challenges because we used to work in a different way. And usually what we do during the day, 40% is attributed to habit alone. So we do want to have, first of all, good habits. And second of all, we have to change so many habits now, and we have to allow time for that. So treat the software implementation or collaboration tool implementation phase as an innovation adoption project. And be aware that be mindful that you might have different people, some who would adapt quicker and some who would take a longer time to adapt. Try to identify your early adopters who could be your advocates, maybe do a pilot project, or maybe roll out some more functions first to small groups, then to the rest of the people. And just be aware that whenever you introducing something new, there are different phases of adoption. So at first awareness, then it's decision to adopt or maybe to not adopt, initial use, and continuous use when it goes into a habit, and you just don't have to spend whether team time, no mental effort to be using that tool. That would be the end of the second part on leadership and office work. I do have some other things for small business. So just give me some indication whether we want to go through the questions now or later. Later. All right, then we just continue. Okay. Small company through the crisis. Small companies are facing even more challenges than big companies or than countries or the infrastructure, because for small companies it's important. A few things are important. The most important thing that we are there after the crisis, right? So how do we make sure that we are there after the crisis, and what are the additional challenges that we see today in this situation that adds up to all this office and remote work that we have to address? So it's a global crisis. So everyone is, it's estimated there are 900 million people working from home, right, nowadays, which is quite a lot. There might be a new political order. The things might just be changing after this Corona crisis, so during this Corona crisis, or we hope that the world goes to normal one day, but we don't know how this new normal is going to look like. So it's something to think about and something to just try to imagine how we are gonna work tomorrow and what is there. So if you see some other challenges to the current situation or to the situation after Corona, please share them in the chat and we can discuss them later when we open it for discussion. The leader is a crisis manager, first of all. So for the leader, it's also not, especially for a small company leader, it's very strenuous, it's very difficult time. It requires a lot of mental strength, right? Because you're responsible for your business, but you're also responsible for the people who were working to you. In small businesses, the personal connections between the team, between the leader, between the partners are a lot closer. It's like a family. It's like close friends. So it's a lot of more of psychological and mental strength that is put on the small company manager in this situation. So you do want to have quick decisions, whether you want to implement them themselves and communicate to your team in an efficient way, or you do have to have a board of advisors, the stakeholders or partners that you do want to be able to discuss and make decisions quickly. Reduce everything that's not critical. We have talked about it, except for the best people, because you will need those best people after the crisis, and people reveal their personality within the crisis. And one thing that after the initial stressful situation, people do show their good side, right? So they do want to contribute, and they do want to give their best, and they do want to make sure that you have the best chances to make it through the crisis and to thrive through the crisis. Open communication. Talk to your people. Retain your customers, retain your vendors, your subcontractors. Try to give understanding also for their challenges and problems. I think that at this time, the best strategy is to be closer together, even though we are following social distancing and communicating over the technology. We still, one of the strengths and one of the opportunities that can emerge out of this crisis is being together and being there for each other. In the face of this challenge, it's also a good time to sit down and reflect. What is the business model? Can I adjust it? Can I improve it? Can I adjust it to the new conditions? Can I find better markets? Can I develop my products? Can I get better technologies? Where can I optimize? Share ownership. So don't, as a leader, we always have this pressure on ourselves because I'm the one responsible. Try to share this responsibility. Try to include your best stakeholders, your best people, your most trusted allies into the ownership. Be hungry for success because that's what you want to have after the crisis. Be creative in changing your business models, being open to new ideas in the world after Corona, and create a psychological safety within your team and within your families and within you as a individual. And be flexible, get stronger and smarter and wiser out of this crisis. Support network, that's what we are doing right now, and that's what you guys are doing in TiE and many different organizations, the startup mission, just trying to be together, just trying to talk through things, because many of us are going through the same things. And if you connect with the people virtually, you see that they're not alone, and there are challenges, but these challenges can be overcome. And there is, after any crisis, there are new opportunities, there are new chances, and there is new world, and there's new ways how to thrive. So make sure you build coalitions, you generate ideas, you do creative sessions online, you connect with your partners, with your vendors, with your fellow entrepreneurs from different companies, just to share the ideas. And I have come to the end of what I wanted to share with you, and I do want to encourage you to look for new ideas or to improve the ideas, to see the opportunities out of this crisis, what we learn, what we develop, to open it to a discussion how we expect the world to be changing from now on, and how we can position ourselves to make the best value for ourselves and for the world, and how can we make the world a better place out of this crisis. Thank you.
Thank you, Nataliya. If any of the participants have questions, if you can use the raise your hand icon there at the bottom, we will enable your audio.
The image of culture looks like coronavirus. No, doesn't have to be. It's our imagination just goes direction of corona. We hope that we don't see. We have seen so many exponential graphs and so many virus pictures and so many just very heavy talks and heavy statistics, that I do want to encourage you to look beyond that and to see opportunities. What can be improved? Where could be new? What are we learning through this crisis? There's been amazing things happening in different countries, governments that were not be able to digitalize their processes through decades, just turned into agile and technological savvy companies or governments over in the course of a few weeks. So there is something that we are getting through this crisis, and we are something that we are learning. Yeah. Employee engagement activities. You still want to hear about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Bhuvan from Coimbatore. Am I audible?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So thanks a lot. This was an amazing session. In fact, very timely. And in fact, unlike many other sessions where there is general information, we have some really immediately usable tools and techniques that we can use. Thank you very much, Nataliya, for that. I have a question. My background is I am an engineering manager slash senior project manager with Robert Bosch at Coimbatore, and I manage a team of more than 30 people. And like others, we are also going through this work from home situation where we have to operate with virtual environment. My question is, in such a situation where we are not able to see people face to face, how do you maintain the balance between having trust in the team members to take care of their work and deliver without too much of in-person communication on one side, and on the other side, make sure that people are not taking things too casually but still deliver productivity? So how do you maintain the balance between productivity and...
It's 5 o'clock.
So
yeah. Yes. Thank you for the question. Thank you for the question. It's very important questions for anyone working remotely. How do I make sure that I still do get the best out of the team and out of the people, given the challenges? So one thing is that we were saying it's very difficult to control people. I think we agree on that. It's very difficult to control whether people are giving their best and their most in the office. And there were many studies that have suggested that at least 2/3 of people are disengaged with their work. So they are not intrinsically motivated to do their best. So one thing that's very important for great performance is this intrinsic motivation, that the project that we are doing, the product that we are creating, the team I'm working in is amazing. It's great. And I do want to give my best, because then we can be better as a team, because I'm going to be happy myself. I'm going to make my manager happy, and we're going to just have a success as a team. So this intrinsic motivation is something that the leader wants to trigger in the employees when they are remotely, even more so than when they're in the office. And I think that I genuinely believe
I'm in a call. I'll call you back.
that with good motivation, people are not lazy. When people believe in something, they find ways and they create ways how to do things better. And there are these examples that a decent manager would get around 80% of the potential of his team, and he'd be happy about it. But a great manager would achieve 120, 150% out of the team, not by pressing the team out, but by creating more potential, making people better specialists, making people better decision makers, making people better contributors, so they can grow personally and they can contribute more. How you do it on the daily basis: personal connection, personal being there as a team, being seen as a leader, and letting people participate in how they want to do. What I love to do is when you set the goals, so you have a goal, you have a milestone, you have a phase, right? And then you have a person who is delivering on a certain milestone. And you say, okay, so this is the milestone that we want to achieve by the end of the quarter. How do you see? What would be the the steps on the way to achieving that milestone. So engage people with the task, let people define. So he would say, I see that we have to do that and that and that. And then you as a manager say, okay, I agree with that, or I think that we could replace that by that. But if people are able to structure their work the way they see it, and they are the best experts in the work, otherwise they would not be there, right? So you want people to engage with their task. Another thing is that you have workers of different level of maturity, right? No, maturity, and maturity is as a specialist. So if you have junior people, then they might be insecure and they might need a little bit more guidance. So you don't want to lose them. It would be wrong just to let them work and say, okay, you guys engage and you create your own goals and you create your own tasks and you just do, because they might be lost. So as a manager, you would like to identify those and speak more often to them. Maybe doing some mentoring for them. If you as a manager cannot afford time-wise doing mentoring for every junior employees, you can engage your more senior people to do mentoring or to stay in small teams more connected. And it would be also something that experts and that more senior employees would also be looking forward to engage as a mentor. Yeah, that would be some of the ways how you can hands-on create more potential in your remote team.
Thank you, Nataliya. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, Devashish here. I had a question. Nataliya, thank you very much. My apologies. I came into the call almost 30 minutes late. I have one specific ask. In this particular time, while most businesses are operating through video conferencing and usage of Zoom and other tools, often it is noticed that the way a supervisor would interact with their team on a face-to-face basis, and while using technology, if somebody tries to do it the same way, it is not very effective, right? So what would be your inputs around how effectively the digital medium needs to be used during this particular crisis time to bring out the best in terms of productivity? I'm talking about usage of the various online platforms to conduct team meetings, business meetings, client interactions.
I'm sorry, you're talking about using of online platforms versus what? I didn't get it.
So no, I'm saying most people are used to a human face-to-face scenario till
Right.
now. However, the same people, while they're trying to use various technology platforms to conduct business, often it is not getting that impactful because many are not so used to regularly using it.
Right.
So what my experience says around the interactions I've been having over the last 2 weeks is the effectiveness of communication and the intent with which such meetings have been held are reasonably diluted. So are there some sort of hacks which you would like to share as to what should be the sort of protocols maintained while somebody conducts an online business meeting or a client meeting or a conversation?
Right. So one thing I think is the crucial importance that the meetings are on a video, so that everyone turns on their webcam and people have the opportunity to actually see each other, because this has two effects. Just a second, I have to tell my son to shut up.
It's okay, he's not disturbing too much, that's fine.
Children at home. I'm sorry for that.
No,
so one thing that you do really want to use video, because with video you see people, you see their body language, you see their frowns, so you see their smiles, so you see their encouraging gestures. So that's one effect. The other effect, people stay more concentrated if they are on video. So the people trying to do something else and to be multitasking during the meetings is obvious. It's obvious also in face-to-face meetings. People sending messages or doing emails or whatever in the meetings. And if you don't have the video on, you automatically don't have that level of concentration, because how easy it is to be distracted is just a lot greater than if you have it on. I was participating in some webinars as in the audience, and what I was trying to do when the technology allows, I was keeping my camera on because it helped me to concentrate myself on what's going on and on the speaker and not being distracted. So that would be the first thing. The other thing is structure the meetings. So the more structure you have in the meeting, the better expectation, if the expectations are communicated and known by the people in a better way. If you have do the timekeeping, do this time boxing for the meetings, like say, okay, we discuss agenda point 1 for 20 minutes and then we are done. Agenda point 2 for 20 minutes and are done. Keep the meetings concentrated, keep them focused and structured, right? So it doesn't dilute, so people don't lose, so people don't have to leave early. Make it mandatory that people come on time, the meeting takes time it needs, and you end. And you really don't want to have long meetings because it's very difficult to concentrate online for long meetings. So maybe it would be, for small decisions, it would be half an hour, it would be 3/4 of an hour. Don't try to never let meetings go for 1.5 hours or longer than 1.5 hours, because it's just not good for the concentration. You lose people. How you protocol the meetings, the best way I like protocoling the meetings, especially remote meetings, is writing tasks down already during the meeting. Share the screen, let people know whatever the minute taker is writing down, and not even in the email, but in if you do use collaboration tool, task the things right away, right? So we have discussed that person XY is gonna take the task, whatever, and he's gonna be done by the end of the week. You put it in the collaboration tool, you put the deadline, everyone knows it's there, it's there. So those would be some of the ideas how to make meetings more efficient.
Thank you very much.
And obviously try to have only those people in the meeting that you really want to have and they can contribute. Disseminate the information in a more efficient way. Let the rest of the people know what has been discussed. It's difficult for many managers to be in every meeting and to contribute in every meeting. It's nice what people are also saying right now, that they have the feeling that they are even more informed during the Corona time than they used to be informed when they were in the office, because they were not going to all those meetings. But they get even less things done, and they can get even less concentration because of many meetings going on where you only are interested in part of the meeting, or you're just listening for general information, but not actively contributing.
Nataliya, can I ask a question, please?
Sure.
Very interesting discussion, Nataliya. My name is M.S.A. Kumar. I have one observation and 2 questions from your interesting discussions. You did mention about this is the time for reflection. So among this crisis, I see a very positive point. I was talking to some of my earlier customers who depended only on China as a single source. Now, at least 2 or 3 of them have told me that, look, they did a business continuity plan and decided that they all went to China basically because it was 5 or 10% cheaper than the Indian product.
Yeah.
But many of them now told that, look, this is the time to look at in terms of having a second or a third source so that the business continuity plan is in place. Because China shut out much earlier than us. So that may be an opportunity in terms of when you said time for reflection. That's one of a comment. You didn't answer my question about this Pomodoro timer.
Yeah. Pomodoro timer is a technique of structuring the time. So you have short sessions of concentrated work, and you try to break your tasks in a way that after this concentrated work, you have a result, right? So the Pomodoro session is 25 minutes long, and you take 5-minute break after the session. So you have 25 minutes intensive work, 5-minute break. After that, you take 25-minute intensive work, 5-minute break, right? Like an interval training in sport. Okay. And you go for 2 hours. So in the classical Pomodoro technique, planning technique, you do for 2 hours, so 4 Pomodoro sessions, and then you take a longer break, half an hour to 40 minutes. And then you can do another Pomodoro set.
Okay, great. One more question, Nataliya, is about, you rightly mentioned that there should be a mindset change in terms of time-based work to result-based work. I mean, can you give some more practical tips? Basically, what you're saying is go by output rather than input. I am basically from the brick and mortar industry, not used to the tech part. How do you ensure that we look at more output than input in terms of how much time one has spent working remotely? Instead of that, look at what output he or she is giving.
Right. So what's your industry?
I used to work for, I am now retired, I'm a family business advisor. I am also the president of TiE Kerala. So basically, I used to work for an extraction company in South India called AV Thomas, AVT, which used to be on the spices and other extracts. But I'm no more with the company. I'm retired and doing private practice.
Yeah. So there are obviously some tasks that you can, base on results. There are some things that you have artifacts, or you have a result, or you have a product at the end of the day, right? Or you have a testable solution, or you have a milestone. So you do want to give the people flexibility to work the way they want, but you do want to have the results. If you can have that, it's good. For many businesses, it's not feasible. Some businesses, like if you go to like customer support roles, right? You cannot evaluate people solely on the output, because for customer support, they have to be there during the working hours, or they have to be there during the hours that they're performing customer support. So you do want to make sure they're on place. But even for situations like that, for roles like that, you can engage with a person to ask, what is your idea to make your work better, more efficient? Where would you have added value? How do you see a good day? What's the difference for yourself? A good day from a bad day? Customer support person could be that, okay, that the KPI or the evaluation metric would be customer satisfaction survey, for example. Do I have more customers that are satisfied? Do we have a higher customer retention? Do we have a new process that we have implemented that I can ticket whatever issues the customer might have faster, right? So those are some of the things that, even though you do have a process that you cannot, evaluate solely on the result, you still can find metrics. And the most important, I think, it's not only the metrics, how you manage it, but it's the engagement of the people and the motivation of the people to do it better. And together with those people, because they're experts, they know the work, the specific, very specific task they're doing, and they know how they can do better. Every one of us can. Or everything we are doing today, we can do better. If we are motivated, we find ways. So that would be one way to find out. And it's always process specific, always team specific, always particular person, right? So we have persons who are extroverts and who are introverts, persons who generate their ideas through talking, maybe to you, be a sparring partner to them. You have people who are more introverted, so they want to refrain into their home office environment and not be disturbed for 2 weeks, or maybe for 2 days. 2 weeks would be too long, and come up with that breakthrough idea. We were also talking about people who need to have more mentorship, or people who want to have more flexibility. So it's all about, creating the most nurturing environment for good ideas and for great performance.
Great, Nataliya. One last question. I mean, it's a very interesting thing you mentioned, which is entirely new to me. You told about celebrations and even how do you drink online?
How do you drink online? A friend of mine was having, he's Danish, and he was having an office celebration, because that's what they usually do, right? So last Friday of the week, they were having beers at the end of the day. And now they cannot. So what he has done, he has ordered, because they live the same kind of city. So he has ordered a delivery of that particular sort of beer to every house. And then people went online, and obviously everyone was drinking his own beer. But if the mood is good, you can even cheer over the screen, right? So it's everything about creativity and the mood. And there are like different funny videos that people were posting online. So how you put your camera perspective in a way that it looks like someone else is pouring wine into your glass, but it's you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I hope we have such technology here available in Kerala.
No, it's not the technology. I show you. I have someone has forwarded me a little video, so let me see whether I can put that video, share it with you.
Yeah, you can share it with Nirmal, Nataliya, and then we will take it from there. I'm sure there will be a few other questions from participants.
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah.
Hi, Nataliya. This
Hi.
is Tushar here.
Hi, Shahir.
Tushar here.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for the session.
Yeah.
So I had a question. How do you deal with, say, you're doing meetings regularly online?
Yes.
How can you deal with employees who handle a critical aspect of your of the company's work and wishes to leave without handing over the work, or let's say they are incommunicado because they want to avoid the work, or if they are upset at the last meeting, or they have disagreements with the management? And how can you incentivize or penalize them to make sure that they do their work?
I personally think that it's very difficult to penalize them. So I would always go for incentivize them. Obviously, you can say, okay, if there is some deadline, or if there's this document that is there, or an artifact that he just has to deliver, it's the same way as how you would, incentivize or penalize them in the office. You cannot, with knowledge workers, you cannot really do it, right? You cannot really force someone doing something. So creating a good environment, making sure that the conflicts are resolved. We were speaking about conflicts. If you get the conflict go deep, it's so much more difficult to get that person back on track, back on the team, back into the spirit. If the person is remote, that if the person is in the office, you just can, if someone just doesn't want to talk to you and you're in the office, you just can go to his place and force him to talk, while you cannot do it on a remote.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So one thing that you really do not want to have the situation.
Okay.
Right. So resolving and preventing conflicts and engaging people and having good, positive culture, making people accountable in a good way, right? That their contribution is so important to the team that we just rely on it. I was having a team once that we were actually working not remotely, but we were working on a team. And what we were having in a team in the same location, co-located team. And what we were having, that we have splitted the tasks it was people were supposed to test a software. And 3 people on the team have split the tasks. And then 1 week later, we came to the team meeting and there was 2 people who have tested the task and the 3rd person hasn't. So he didn't do his homework. So even if it's in a co-located team, I, as a manager, I could not force him to do that. He said, oh, I, like had some different priorities, so I didn't manage or whatever. Could you guys help me? And what the team said, I, as a manager, I didn't say anything, but what the team said, they looked at each other and they said, hey, you know what? It's unfair. We have decided last week that we split the effort and that we do and that we finish by this week. The 2 of us have done our homework. You haven't. Could you please go back and do your homework? And that was an example of the team commitment, right? So for him, it would be, if I start, like pushing him for a deadline, he would, depending on the personality, but people can, like resign even more, right?
True. Yeah.
But because it was given by the team, and the team was the people who relied on him doing his homework, right? Of him doing his tests. They also said, because they were nice, they said, okay, we can help you, but we can take, like, I don't know, 1 or more 2 tests, but you still have to do it. We have done it. We have invested our time, and we really depend. The next step depends on you contributing, right?
How do you get to incentivize them? What are some ways you do that?
I think that intrinsic motivation works a lot better than extrinsic motivation. So intrinsic motivation is why people want to do it versus what benefits people are going to have for it, right? So obviously it could be, you also want to find out what's important to people, right? Is it the price? Does this person want to shine in front of the team? Is that what triggers him? Is that he's giving a lasting impact on the team? Is that he is seen as an expert? What is it? What does this particular person want to achieve? What would drive that particular person to a better contribution? I do believe in motivation, and I do believe in personal motivation, and getting to know people personally, and addressing people needs and people triggers, and like just try to find the psychological buttons. What would help people do their best, right? Is it a promotion? Maybe. Is it a thank you on the team gathering next week? Maybe. Is that the feeling that I was important? Maybe. Is that more challenging or more interesting tasks that I can get if I do this one well? Is this the next step? Maybe I can be a mentor to someone, right? So we all are different, and there are different techniques, and I personally always try to find out in the setting, in the type of task, to make the task interesting to the person.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, Nataliya.
Hi.
Myself, Divya. I'm from Kerala. Thank you so much for giving such a wonderful session. It was a confidence booster during this Corona period. Thank you for that. And my question to you is, am I audible?
Yes.
My question to you is regarding the making slim plan and change in business planning. See, for a small startup company, if we are changing the business plan, definitely there will be a pre-corona phase and post-corona phase for almost all the business firms right now. Right. So if you are changing the business plans and changing the deliverables in order to cut short some expenses, I'm a little worried whether this is going to affect our existing clients' reliability part and how to overcome this situation.
Right. So as I'm saying, there are different aspects to it. First of all, you as a startup, as a small company that a very small boat in this huge sea of global crisis, you do want to make sure that you have the best chances to be there tomorrow. adapting the strategy, products, right? But what do we do with the stakeholders? What do we do with the vendors? What do we do with partners? We do want to have them tomorrow. So it's always keeping together and creating the community and creating the environment to try to help and be helped, right? So for bigger clients, if bigger clients can afford, to give you extension on the delivery, right? Or if bigger vendors can afford for you to pay later, then that's would be the conditions that you want to arrange with them, right? If you have clients that depend on you, on your product, try to do it. Try to help a client in this time of crisis, because when the time of crisis is gone, and this client has survived the crisis because of you, he would be your best advocate. He will go ahead and promote your product and make sure that the publicity finds out how you have saved his company during the crisis, right?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Nataliya.
I found this little video and I got it from Ziad. I'm not gonna send you because I don't know where the video is from, but I just can show you live. Ziad is the TiE president in Dubai.
Okay.
And let me try to share this video because I think it's a very that's a video party. It's not a drinking party, but it's a dancing party. I put a little bit forward so you can see the special effects, how people do. See? Everyone is pointing on her.
Talia, that's a great video. I think you could share that with me. I will share with all the participants also. I'll take up some more.
It's just something, like to smile about, because
Absolutely.
we do want to have fun. And as you see, people can make parties, and it's less about the technology. It's more about the mood and the creativity.
I agree.
Right? So let's keep the spirits high and let's be there together for each other. And let's make sure that we, in a post-corona world, we do find and create business models that are relevant for the world after this corona crisis. And we make the world even a better place. And we
Absolutely.
learn through the crisis and we emerge stronger.
Folks, we are going to take a couple more questions. Probably after that, we would end the session. Do we have another question?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Nataliya.
Hi.
Nataliya, hi. How are you doing?
Good, good.
Thank you for the session. My name is Muthu. I'm from Chennai in India. I run a small business banking company where we give out loans for automobiles. And I have a lot of branch offices in smaller towns in and around Chennai. I'm in the process right now of implementing these online meetings and online structurings. Since my offices are in smaller towns where technology is just developing, how do we inculcate the culture of online meetings and online discussions?
So you see resistance? Is it more the technical problem or is it more the cultural problem?
It's neither technical nor cultural. It's a new concept that I'm introducing. So what are the first few steps that I should take to implement this process?
I think everything goes, that's my experience with implementation. I used to be leading many projects and technology implementation and software implementation and reorganization projects. So it takes time, and you want to have a good structure. You have to good expectations, and you still have to assume that you have this technology adoption curve. So you have people who will join earlier, and you want to multiply that effect as you go on, right? So maybe it's at first you do fewer functions, or maybe you do it a pilot project just with couple of the entities and make sure that they work really well, that you yourself also learn what would be like the weak points in the process, and you improve it before you roll out on a bigger scale.
Right.
And encourage people to try to find out new things and to be open for change.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Nataliya.
Yeah, do we have one more question?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, Vaibhav.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, Nataliya.
Hi.
It was a great session. Most of my questions were asked by other people, and I got a really good answer, I think. There is one more question I wanted to ask. It is very important to me right now. Is that we are going to launch our B2B service in mid-April. And then there was a lot of plans for sales and marketing before the COVID-19 lockdown came down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we had many verticals for face-to-face sales and only one vertical for online sales.
Mm-hmm.
So we were about to go on a hiring spree for all of those. So my question is, should we stop right now, or should we concentrate on the online salespeople hiring only? And what would the market react to a face-to-face or an online sales presentation? Because most of the time in India, we do face-to-face presentations only. There is a very little chance of doing an online presentation and create the trust that comes through a face-to-face presentation. That is my question.
What do you think would be the cultural environment in India after this crisis? Do you think people would be more open to virtual collaboration, or do you think it's going to remain personal?
I think so. It is more going to be on the virtual side. I think so. Not in India. I think so. It's going to be all over the world because of obviously COVID-19. So
Right.
yeah.
So try to estimate that one. Try to be conservative when this Corona thing is going to be over, because no one knows. In Dubai, they just announced yesterday that homeschooling is going to remain until end of June. Okay. So it might take longer than we expect. So you might not want to hire people and have them on the payroll and them not being able to do the job. So if you can be flexible on that and just wait up and see how the world is changing and developing, you might hopefully find people later for the job when you see that they actually can sell, right? And with the virtual sales is one of the difficult things. I mean, you can do so many like tutorials and video conferences and in detail discussions, but it's an emotional process that people do prefer to have a personal contact, right? So, and I think India, as I can imagine, Indian culture is a lot more personal than many of the European countries, right? So if in Europe people are just interested in efficiency and they are not that digitalized, to Americans, then they would probably more of the processes would be moved online, because it's quick, it's cheaper, and if people through the Corona crisis are more warmed up for virtual collaboration, it would be okay. But I think that the best idea is just to wait up a little bit and see where the global trends are going to.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nataliya.
Yes, thank you.
Hello. We'll take one more question from Mr. Sabu.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Please go ahead.
Nataliya, my name is Sabu Thomas from Kerala. How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Yeah, from my side, what kind of new business opportunities we can expect on this Corona times, which can manage by virtual office management platforms?
What was the question?
What kind of new business opportunities we can expect? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Only I text you also. What kind of new business opportunities we can expect on this Corona times, which can manage by virtual office management platforms?
I think there are so many business opportunities. I have
some example, some of the examples.
Some of the examples.
Yeah, the latest one, not the previous one.
In whichever industry you are, there are so many opportunities. For example, education. I think that education, children education especially, is going to shift a lot more to, not a lot more, but I think there will be created opportunities for kids learning online because kids are introduced to that. Maybe there are different like global schools that if you have access to internet, you can participate in a global class. Maybe it's healthcare. I don't know, you know, like healthcare is an issue these days that if that we all have hope that if it's more efficient, we can accommodate more of the sick people. And healthcare, like remote healthcare has been a topic. I worked on it as a consultant maybe 15 years ago in Germany. And I was doing research on healthcare project, on remote healthcare projects. So there were different trackers who could measure the blood sugar or the blood pressure or whatever and transmit the data directly to your doctor. I think that we still are not that far on that we want. So I think there's a lot of opportunities in healthcare. I think there's a lot of opportunities in e-commerce. It has been booming online, but I think it's gonna be even more. Different technologies, this remote collaboration platforms and virtual reality things and all kinds of technology. I think there are so many opportunities, and that's why I put it on the slide that you guys think in whether it would be relevant for your business or it would be relevant for your surrounding to be able to better place your business, or whether it would be some new opportunities, or whether you see. So those were some examples that I could have thought of, but you're very welcome to put your examples on the chat and we can share it afterwards, and you can guys get together and work on the ideas and create magic projects and magic business cases for the time after Corona.
Well, I agreed with you, but even though, is there any new opportunities invented after this Corona,
anything you invent will be new. I think we all are capable of inventing new, great, amazing things. I haven't invented anything yet, so I cannot.
I can tell you one thing: the class which we are doing right now, that is due to the Corona,
right
scenarios, right?
Right. So, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity, because otherwise I wouldn't have got to know you all and wouldn't have this amazing session with you. And I hope you also got some input better than, like any other ways, if you had read something on the internet or something. And I think that I hope, because this is my way of engaging myself during the Corona time. And I'm really enjoying this online collaboration. I'm really enjoying reaching out to people that would be not accessible before, right? So I'm working in online collaboration, virtual collaboration, and virtual team building and virtual trainings since 2 years now. And right now it's opening a lot, right? Because we don't have any other possibilities to meet or to do trainings or to engage in exchanging ideas. That's why we are open for that. And I think and I hope that by the time this Corona is over, that people have realized the opportunities of this remote online collaboration, of engaging with people in personal way, remotely.
So shall we expect new opportunities after this Corona crisis, right?
Right. So I expect it in this online virtual workshop and virtual trainings and virtual facilitation area. That's what I hope, because that's something I really love, and I hope I can have more opportunities to do it.
Thank you very much, and we are expecting more sessions from your side like this.
Anytime, it would be great.
Thanks for your time.
I'm putting you're very welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn, or send me an email, or sign up for my newsletter, or look through the workshops that we are offering right now, or reach out to create a workshop for your team. I'm very open for different ways.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for your time.
Hello? Yeah. Hello? Okay. Yanmal, I think you're muted. If you're trying to tell me something.
Any other questions?
Hello.
All right.
Yeah, this is Muthu. See, generally I used to take many trainings when we are working in the company, like technical trainings, and it used to be like whole day training. So now, since I would like to utilize this time for doing more trainings. So like you mentioned, many tools that can be used for good interactive training, like video and sharing the PowerPoint presentation. And also, like, since this is technical training for very long, like generally we used to do 6-7 hours in a day, and maybe it would be difficult, but still, as you said, like with the breaks and things like that, how can I manage effectively doing like 5-6 hours in a day, and what kind of tools I can use that would be helpful for me?
There are tools. I forgot what the tool was that we were using for distance learning. So you can put like a video session. So you can put like pre-recorded videos, or you can put like self-guided learning, self-guided assessments. Let me come back to you on the tool. I forgot how the tool is called. It's a very easy tool. If you want to do that, what I like doing is those engaging sessions. So what the sessions that you would be doing, like during the day with your breaks and with your, like small team work, small group work, or team presentations or something, or breaks. One of the advantages when you're doing it remote, you do not have to do it on one day, right? So you can spread it, and you can have what I like to do is blended learning. So you have some self-learning, some pre-recorded video content that people go through, and then you meet with people online, and you like the online sessions with interaction, with team collaboration, with teamwork, brainstorming. There are, even in Zoom, there are really great possibilities for doing breakout rooms where you create small groups for people to be engaged in small group discussions. And then you can give homework assignments. So you can give people the assignment to work on what you have learned in class, to create whatever with the software, or to structure a project, or to, like create a team rule set. That's what we do. And then submit it, and that would be part of the class. So if you do it remotely, you can spread it over a 2-day course. That's what I was working on, a concept, a 2-day like face-to-face course. You can spread it into a 2-week learning time, right? And you can get more engagement of that. And it's true that it's more difficult to engage people and to keep people engaged through the day. So 5-6 hours of online training in one day is just not feasible. You're going to lose the people, right? So it's preferable to do like at maximum 2 hours interactive, and then let people digest and work through that. That's my suggestion.
Thanks, Nataliya. We have completely overshot the time. So if you have any further questions, I request the participants to, we'll share the email of Nataliya. Probably you could send a mail to her directly. We'll also share the PPTs. Like I said, we have a good number of participation. I thank you all for participating. I thank Nataliya for taking her time. We had a very, some issues with the internet connection, but then, I guess the webinar went quite well. I request MSA Kumar, President of TiE Kerala, who is online now, to probably speak to you over the next lineup of the topics that we have as part of our web series. Mr. Kumar?
He's muted. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just give me a second. We will unmute him.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Thank you.
Did you hear what I talked in the last 1 minute?
Unfortunately not.
Okay, I will repeat. It was thanks, Nataliya, for a brilliant 1.5 hour session. It was very useful and practical. We had 126 participants for this webinar from various parts, including Germany and Dubai, as well as various other chapters of TiE from all over India. We are starting from TiE Kerala, this virtual series of webinars and panel discussions. I would like to announce the next panel discussion, which is coming up on 3rd March, which I remember Divya, one of the participants, asking, okay, what do I do now with this COVID? So this is a panel discussion on surviving the unsettling times. What next for startups? This is on 3rd March. Please note down the time, Friday, 3rd March.
It's 3rd April, sir.
Oh, sorry, 3rd April. 3rd April from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. This will be anchored by Mr. Vijayaraghavan, G. Vijayaraghavan, who is a TiE Kerala charter member, and he is the founder CEO of Technopark in Trivandrum. The participants will be very interesting. We have our charter member again, Mr. C. Balagopal, who is a founder president of TiE Kerala. We have Prasad Balakrishnan, who is CEO of Maker Village. We have our immediate past president, Rajesh Nair, who is an associate partner of Ernst & Young. We have Alesh Aviani, who is an angel investor. We have Shihab Mohammed of Survey Sparrow, founder and CEO. Thompson Sakaria, Chief Evangelist Rapidor. So we have an eminent panel. So I would suggest that, and we will have a series of webinars starting from this one today, because we realize that all our charter members and associate members have a lot of time in their hands, and we can organize such useful and productive sessions. So thanks all the participants. Thanks, Nataliya, for your time, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to more sessions, and I will try to join the session on April 3rd. And
wonderful.
We stay in touch.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for joining the party. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. All right, I think we're done.